Amen. Were we saying a prayer? Okay, let's do it. Ready?
Go.
You can say, what's up, everybody? Good morning. You ready? Ready?
Do
Do it. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a... Welcome to a Saturday edition. Use your words. Hey, use your words. Welcome to a Saturday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Badgers Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com, and Restored Motions, RestoredMotions.com. We got a little Tater, who's up early today. Up early, I'm going to say it's 9:20, but got out of bed early, ready to roll. Was excited to sit here and do Dad's show. Feeling better. Feeling better after being a little under the weather this week. Aren't we? Aren't we? Feeling better. So, fun day today, y'all. Got like 6 bowl games today, 3 NFL games today. Got Pelicans against the Suns. We got some LSU basketball, a full slate of college basketball. I mean, we got a ton of action today. So, fun day. Huge recruiting weekend for the Tigers. They got a couple of transfer portal guys on campus. Defensive lineman from Arizona, edge rusher from Oregon, both likely to land at LSU, it seems. One of the top safeties in the country, uncommitted from the state of Mississippi. And
this way.
This way, okay. And
This way.
Desmond Ricks, 5-star uncommitted cornerback, also on campus this weekend. So huge weekend for LSU recruiting as well. What, buddy? Use your words. Use your words. It is Daddy's phone?
Yeah.
Okay, come on.
And then...
All right, so I finally got a new phone. I'm wondering if y'all had this issue. I'm convinced Apple, with their updates, they sent down a lot. I'm not conspiracy theorist. I just think that this is actually something that happens. It's actually a known thing that happens. It's called forced obsolescence, where there's nothing really wrong with something that you have, but a manufacturer forces something new upon you. You see that all the time. The auto industry is a great example of that. The auto industry. There we go. Like every year, the audio industry comes out with a Sorry, I was on the wrong channel. Yo, man. Okay, thanks, B. The auto industry every year comes out with the 2022 model. The 2022s must go to make room for the 2023s. It's forced obsolescence. There's nothing wrong with the 2022 model, but they got to bring in the 2023s. Have something new, because the tail light is bent a little bit more. Anyway, so my phone was like literally, I could not make a phone call without it dropping. Phones, I've had it for two years maybe, and could not make a phone call anymore without the phone call dropping. So had to go get a new phone, did. And so Drew always gets, whenever I get a new phone, he gets my old phone just to watch videos and stuff like that on. So he's in hog heaven now because he can't touch my phone. So now he thinks that's my phone that he gets. So he's in hog heaven. A new phone for Drew. So he's not making calls or anything. He just watches videos, and it's basically just connected to our Wi-Fi, so we can watch YouTube or my old videos on my phone or whatever. All right, let's say some good mornings here. Again, big recruiting weekend, tons of sports going on this weekend. Y'all do me a favor, YouTube. Please smash that like button. Facebook. Please like the page, share the post. We appreciate y'all as always. Of course, Brock, Hudco, Restored Motions. Let's see. Say some good morning. See what y'all got here. What y'all are excited about. Brad Johnson, Carlos Vaughn. Good morning. Wendell Norman, Casey Williams, Adrian Bailey, Donald Amy, Chet Buxton, Brian Wynn, Jeb Whitley. Good morning from Knoxville, Tennessee. Stephen Jacobs. Hope y'all are having a great weekend. A great sports weekend. Perfect weather to stay inside. Have y'all looked at the weather for Christmas? So that was father-in-law. That's Papa Rock who just walked out. He normally me, him, and then my other two brothers-in-law go play golf on Christmas Eve morning. The girls will go like get their nails done or something like that. And it's gonna be like 19 degrees, and we're like, yeah, nope, not going to play golf. Nope, not doing that. So I'll figure something else out. Zach Swan, Cliff Nelson, what's good? Larry Francis, some person, good morning. Sad to say Dennis Allen made me change my profile pic to a brown bag. Oh yeah, I see that. It's an Aints fan. It's a brown bag over the head. Brian Wynn, Matt, how much are you paying Drew in NIL money for his appearances on your show? Drew gets whatever he wants. Okay, so his NIL opportunity is that he literally gets. Actually, he doesn't really want anything, but Erica just buys him anything she wants to buy him that she thinks he might like. Carl the Cat, good morning. Randall Offrecht, morning, Matt. If Sean Payton is in play, but Mickey declines his services because he wants to keep Dennis Allen instead, Mickey should be relieved of his duties. I agree with you, Randall. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I don't think Mickey's going anywhere, however, because Mrs. Benson implicitly trusts Mickey Loomis and Dennis Lauscha, and the succession plan of the Saints involves them, so they're not going anywhere. But I would agree with you. If Sean is available, willing to come back, you make that change. Kelly Gross, good morning. Patrick Berglass, good morning. Jeremy Sagely, good morning. It's my birthday. Can I get a Hudco jingle for my birthday? Absolutely. You know what else? Got to get Drew over here to sing happy birthday, so hang on.
When you need a roof, call someone you know. Scone and Terrio. All you need is Hudco. Call Hudco Roofing. 364-1007.
There you go, Jeremy. Happy birthday, man. Henry Gordon Bennett, what's good? Can I get Ryan's address so I can send him a Christmas card? Terrio's letter yesterday was how much he hates Christmas cards. Or really the Christmas card culture. Like how everybody sends everybody Christmas cards, their family, and all blah, blah, blah. Aaron Hornsby, what's going on? Brant Roban, good morning. Headed to a spin class while being 130-degree sauna. Feel the burn. Go Tigers. Hey, man, you gonna sweat, dog? I love that, actually. I love doing, like, hot workouts like that. Samuel Merrifield, loved the interview with Connor Griffin yesterday. Hope he makes it to campus. Johnson is building a great program. Yes, he is. So if you missed it, Connor Griffin, the player we talked about, the baseball commit for 2024, was on AFR yesterday with me and Terrio. Really good interview. Odd to say, but kind of polished at 16. You don't really ever see that. A lot of times when we're talking to recruits, even at high school, or even at senior in high school when they're signing, it's rare to find a polish. When that kid's 16 years old, it's incredible. All right. Matt Godwin, Patrick Cason, good morning. All right, Brand, if you were to guess, what area of the field do you see the most improvement next season? O-line? Brent, I hope it's. I would say yes. I would expect LSU's offensive line will continue improving. Right? They were not good early in the year. We tend to forget that, but in the first 8 games, you used 6 different line combos, and they were objectively very, very bad. I'd venture a guess that if you actually took the time to go back and rewatch the Florida State game, you would be floored at how bad they were. Remember, Cam Wire was starting at right tackle. Garrett Dellinger was starting at center. I don't think Tremont Short started. I think you had... Anyway, point is, it was bad. And you think about where they ended up, it just dramatically different. So yes, I would expect they would continue the upward trajectory. My hope, though, would be cornerback would actually be that spot, because they weren't great there this year. They were serviceable, especially against lesser teams, but not the kind of secondary where you want your corners to go live on an island and thrive. And you get some of these commits we're talking about. You get Desmond Ricks on board. You got Toviano committed. Maybe if you bring in Denver Harris, we'll see. But now all of a sudden you're talking about a pretty stacked room of young talent, and not just experienced veteran players who might have a shot at the NFL. Now you're talking about legit first-round NFL talents. And that's a lot more comfortable. Debbie Jenkins, good morning. Lost my spot, sorry. Ryan DeLon, good morning. Getting closer and closer to baseball season. Yes, indeed. Jacob Willis, what's up? Tyler Alexander, good morning. Part of the Darren James and Associates team, Tyler Alexander. Need to sell your home? Call Darren James. Aaron Hornsby, David Tolson, what's the scouting report for LSU versus Winthrop basketball today at 5 p.m.? Man, look, I would be completely lying to you if I told you I had watched a second of Winthrop basketball this year. They are 5-6 on the season. The Winthrop Eagles are. They lost to Penn State. They lost by 30 to Auburn. They lost to Mercer by double digits. They lost by 25 to Southern Miss. They just ain't good. They score 76 a game. They're terrible defensively. They allow 78 a game. And they're nearly dead last in the country in rebounds per game. So, LSU's a 15-point favorite in this game. That should be all you need to know. Hey, Dad, good morning. Had a great night last night. Celebrating Dad's birthday. Dad and I and my Gramps, who's 90 years old, went to Rufino's last night. Guys' night. Just the three of us went and had dinner. It was awesome. Rufino's always on point. If you love dry-aged meat, I don't know if they have any more, but last night the special at Rufino's was their dry-aged bone-in ribeye. Oh my goodness! You can get it topped with shrimp and I don't know what that sauce was that they used, but it was a beautiful cut of meat, and no sauce needed on top of that thing, brother. I'm telling you, beautiful cut of meat. Rufino's is awesome as always. Decorated for the holidays. They always take great care of us, man. We had a great time. Saw Doug Thompson, Blair Barbier there yesterday. They were leaving as we saw Toby Tomplay and Shelley Brown Tomplay, that of Mr. Toby Tomplay fame. So great night at Rufino's. Great night, always. Mark Bork, good morning. Chuck Sanchez, what's up, Chuck? Get it? Up, Chuck? Travis Roy, morning, Matt. In case you're not aware, even a phone with no service can still dial 911. I've spent many days trying to get the child on the other end to get an adult trying to confirm there's no emergency. Just your Saturday morning PSA. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Drew would not know to hit 911. And I don't know that he would navigate to the emergency or SOS function to dial like that. So he will go into my call log and tap people's names, that like family names he recognizes, but it won't call out, obviously. So, but thank you for the heads up. That is certainly pertinent info. Aaron Hornsby, did that one already. Harley Doucette, think Griffin will get to campus. Harley, I'll put it to you this way. Like, I can't sit here and tell you definitively, yes, he'll show up, but I'll tell you this. the people whose immediate reaction is no way that kid ever shows up, I'm telling you, it's not quite that cut and dry. I'm just telling you, there's more factors at play. From yes, NIL is a piece of it. No, NIL money won't approach that. But you know what? One thing I did say on air yesterday is, you know, I am very confident in saying he will have NIL opportunities at LSU in excess of 7 figures. I'm not talking like high 7 figures, but you know, in excess of $1 million. And you know, his family's in Mississippi. Parents are in education. His dad's also a coach. Coaches softball. I'm just telling you, there's some factors at play that are going to make him have a really difficult decision, when that day comes. Ryan, Amanda, Guidry, Burke, Broussard, Bubba Smith, good morning. Jeff McKithen, Kirk Taylor, good morning. Let's see, Zachary Snyder, morning, y'all. First live show I've been able to catch since the birth of my son. All right. Loyal listener in training. I love it. Congrats, Zachary Snyder. Hope mom and baby are doing awesome. It's fantastic news. Scott McClendon, Merry Christmas. Matt, you and your family. Hope you have a magnificent holiday season. Thank you, man. Same to you, same to you, same to you. Jesse Brown, good morning from the interstate. Louisiana bound for the holidays. All right, Jesse. Let's drive safely today. All right, CB, good morning. Carl the Cat, basketball tonight at the PMAC. Last few games before it gets real in the SEC. Yeah, man. 2 more non-conference games for LSU. They got Winthrop tonight. And then they'll play East Tennessee State on Tuesday or Wednesday. Interesting note, by the way, about East Tennessee State. So John Jancic, who is a longtime college football coach, he's an analyst on Kelly's staff right now. But you might remember John Jancic, who was the DC at Tennessee. Anyway, his son, one of his sons plays at East Tennessee State. Brock Jancic, he's a senior forward, 6'8", 225. So he is on that team, that East Tennessee State team that's going to be playing at the PMAC next week. So, Kirk said who's making a difficult decision. So he was asking about Connor Griffin. Connor Griffin, the number 1 player in the baseball class for 2024, who we had him on AFR yesterday and committed to LSU Thursday night. Yeah, I got to take my word for it. Even Terrio said it yesterday. He said when you're looking at a prospect, he's a better prospect than Dylan Cruz is. And y'all got to see Dylan Cruz play college baseball for 2 years, so you feel a certain way about him. But this kid's 6'4", 195 at 16 years old with opposite field power. He's faster already and with a better arm. Like measurable things as a prospect. He's freaking Josh Hamilton, man. He's Bryce Harper. He's the next one of those. They don't come along very often, but that's him. He's the one. All right. Zach Lenz. Morning, Matt. Hope we lock up Desmond Ricks this weekend. He'll announce next week, but man, getting the last swing is a big deal, man. When you get the last official visit, you get to make the final impression. Yeah, I would say that that's a good sign. Let's see, Cliff, Matt and Terrio trying to get the Mississippi authorities to come down on y'all offering NIL deals on air. So Terrio was going to make an NIL offer to Connor Griffin. I stopped him when I said, hey, hold on, bro. Hold on. Like, I don't think Mississippi allows NIL for high school, so let's not get this kid in trouble. Right? But I guess he could have said, look, just so you know that the offer is there, when you're here. But then again, is that used as a recruiting inducement? I don't know. I'd just rather keep it clean. But I can tell you there's a certain roofing company that would love to do a deal with Connor Griffin when he makes it to campus. Christian, morning, Matt. Is there any news about Nicholas Harbor or projections about where he might land? I mean, not that I know, but let's look at crystal balls and whatnot. Let's see. Crystal ball projects him right now to South Carolina. So, best player in the DC area, edge rusher, 6'5", 225. Projected to South Carolina right now, for whatever that's worth. Spurge, what's good? Brian Ashcraft, good for clout for LSU baseball, but he won't set foot in batter's box at LSU. I'm telling you, Brian, like, if that's your opinion, like, you're just wrong. Like, if you're just saying flatly he'll never show up, I'm telling you, there's more at play than just he's going to take a big. Now, there are some guys where that's the case. Like, got Blaine Enlow. Blaine Enlow was never showing up on campus ever. Blaine Enlow was getting paid and going to play pro ball. That was it. People would have said the same thing though about Dylan Cruz, about Alex Bregman. Like, you can't get them to campus if you don't sign them first. And I'm just telling you, man. Listen, I'm not telling you that it's a. I'm not telling you that he's showing up. I'm not telling you that. I'm not saying definitively it's happening. I'm just telling you he's a kid that it is there is at least a likelihood, a probability of him showing up. There's like Justin Crawford last year, there was no shot. There was no shot ever that kid was showing up. You take the commitment, you sign him, just because you never know, like, something could go sideways. Kumar Rocker, top 10 pick in the draft, doesn't sign. I mean, every now and again, there's one of those wackadoo scenarios. I'm telling you, this one wouldn't even be one of those wackadoo scenarios. Like, you have a legitimate chance to get him here. Because when his day comes, he's going to get paid either way. Southern Extreme Podcast, Greg Self, Ashley Megan, good morning. Cliff Nelson, LSU's lost 3 linemen in the portal, right? What's the depth like now? Seems like LSU will be really young and inexperienced. Well, yeah, so they've lost Cam Wire, Marcus Dumerville, and Xavier Hill. But remember, your first 6 are all back. So you return your first 6. And I'm not sure they're done losing players there either, Cliff, in the portal. But I'm telling you, they will also hit the portal to bring in experienced depth for that reason. They'll have some young guys, but they're gonna add a player or two in the portal on the offensive line to bring in some experienced depth. Because you may like your first 6, but if you have no experience behind them, you're a turned ankle away from having to turn to a young and experienced player. Now, someone just put in there about Lance Hurd, who's a 5-star offensive lineman out of Neville, and he's a guy that could come in and play right away for you. But do you want to play another freshman? Maybe, if he's good enough, you do it, of course. But anyway. Brant, it's not Christmas till you've seen which Christmas movie. We watched Christmas Vacation last night, as a matter of fact. You put Christmas Vacation, Home Alone, or O.G. Rudolph. Ron Ritchie, good morning from Northwest Mississippi. Moving to Vegas in January. You're my primary source of LSU sports. Thank you for being committed to doing this every morning. It's very much appreciated. Hey, man, enjoy the move. I hope it's for good reasons that you're heading to Vegas. But appreciate you for being here, man, for sure. Todd Harris, good morning. Don Juan Jose, if we get Desmond Ricks, we don't need Corey Raymond. But we have to see how the DBs develop. Man, you land, because listen, you're competing with Corey Raymond and Nick Saban for Desmond Ricks. if they land Desmond Ricks, massive win. Massive win. Let's see. Nikki C, do you think this scenario could happen? Texans fire Lovie Smith. Sean Payton comes out of retirement. Saints trade Payton to Houston for the first pick and draft Bryce Young. No, Nikki C, because the Texans aren't going to give up the first pick in the draft. Like, they're going to draft their franchise quarterback. I mean, one of the reasons they were willing to trade Deshaun was they knew they'd be bad enough to be in a position to draft their franchise quarterback. And how often are you in a position to draft your franchise quarterback? So no, I don't think that that's a realistic scenario at all. Trivia Carter, good morning. Ashley Megan, dang, 90. That's talking about my Gramps. Yeah, so Gramps turned 90 in October and still sharp, man. Like last night, we're sitting there at dinner, and Gramps is telling us stories like when during his professional career, he worked for Woodward White and then for Werner Ladders. So I mean, he traveled all over the country to trade shows and calling on clients and all that. I mean, Gramps would tell us stories about business dinners they'd go to in the 70s. I mean, 50 years ago, and he's like telling you names and with the names of the restaurants and where they were. I mean, he may be making it all up, but I don't care. Hella good stories. Jermaine Gordon, good morning from Hollywood, Florida. Glad to hear about the quality family time. Yeah, man. Thank you, man. Ash, so wait, did something happen to Drew? No, nothing happened to Drew. All good. All good. Drew was a little under the weather this week, but he's good. Was back at school yesterday and rocking and rolling. Let's see, Jed, Matt, you believe Sean is seriously in play to come back to the Saints? He said, does the QB quagmire scare him away? So Sean Payton was on Rosillo Pod this week and said, and Rosillo asked him point blank about the quarterback thing. Like, are you going somewhere that has a good quarterback? And Sean was like, no, because typically places that have a franchise quarterback, the coaching job isn't open. It's like what he wants, and this is, by the way, what Jeff Duncan wrote last week, and he's right, of course. Jeff Duncan literally wrote the book on Peyton and Breeze. So I trust Jeff Duncan, who he's talking to here. But he said what Sean Payton wants is a stable organization, because there are only, there are stable organizations with good, with good ownership and management can win. Not every organization is stable and therefore will never win. That's like the Washington Commanders. Like with Dan Snyder there, they'll never win. They're not a stable organization. It's what Dallas has been for 30 years since Jerry ran off Jimmy. I mean, Switzer won it with that core, but I mean, they can win games, got some nice teams. You never won a championship. Sean's best friend in football is Mickey Loomis. He knows the Bensons. He knows. So yes, it's possible he would return, and Sean also believes he could develop a quarterback. The problem is the Saints have a coach, and I don't know that they're going to fire Dennis Allen. Reed Rule, happy Saturday. Saw Nick Underhill's stat. Kamara has 6 touches inside the 10-yard line for the season. That alone should be fireable. Damon Perkins, good morning. Dustin Blanchard. Heard Connor's parents really want him to be a Tiger and get his education, but a monster signing bonus is hard to turn down. Yeah, there's a lot of factors at play. His mom's a high school teacher, and his dad is his dad's a softball coach at what's his name? Kevin. I think it's Kevin Griffin. I think his dad is Kevin Griffin. Yeah, here you go. He's at Belhaven University. He's the head softball coach and athletic director, assistant AD at Belhaven, at Belhaven University. So both are not only in education, but his dad is in collegiate coaching, and anyway. Eric Waterrod, I'm Matt. Can you help put in perspective how much more or less players are getting now versus a few years ago when players were below board? Yeah, it's a good question, Eric. I think the biggest difference is in your elite top, where you have the the Bryce Youngs, the C.J. Strouds that can do 7-figure NIL deals. Livy Dunn, right? I think what NIL was intended for is things like you see, like what we do with Hudco Hometown Heroes, where we can cut a check to a student athlete for a couple $100 for an ambassador deal, where it's you do an Instagram post or something like that, which to a student athlete, to put a couple $100 or $1,000 here or there in their pocket is huge, right? And that's the majority of the deals. That would be your sort of $100 handshakes where you're actually getting a receivable now. I'm trying to tread carefully. I'll just give you a for instance. I know there was a 5-star player that was committed to a high-level SEC school that school gave that player a booster at that school gave that player $30,000 when he committed, and he ended up flipping to another school. So how much do you think the other school gave him to flip? Probably more than $30,000. Yeah. But since it was all under the table, how do you try to recoup that initial 30, right? Anyway. So some of the amounts are probably similar. It's certainly used more as a recruiting inducement. It's just more trackable now. Larry Francis, Matt, did you hear what the Washington State coach said about the portal and NIL? I did not. Tommy Howard, dude is the definition of a 5-tool player. Yes, he is. Hunter Broadhead, Jonathan Martin, Ashley Megan. Wish MLB would let colleges develop these kids. Yeah, but see, Ashley, the thing is, not every kid gets developed in college. The MLB would rather have the kid in their farm system and develop them. You know what I mean? Like, that's why they have a minor leagues, is so that they can develop them. Because when you're in college, especially with pitchers, when you're in college, you're being used not to get to the next level. You're being used to win games at that level, right? You're in the minors, you're an asset they're trying to protect. They won't overwork you. You get now at places like LSU, certainly in high level, the arm care, the training staff, all that is just such a higher level now than it was even 10 or 15 years ago. But anyway, Daniel Blount, good morning. Let's see, Ashley, a lot of these great baseball kids have bred. A lot want the college experience before going to the majors. What's really, honestly, Ashley, what's really changed is, and it's not that they all have money, because not all of them do. What's really changed is college. Two things have happened in college baseball. One is when they deadened the bats, college baseball moved out of that drop 7, the rocket launcher, where you didn't know what stats were real or inflated because the bats were so big that anybody could hit homers, right? So now they've deadened the bats. College baseball looks more like the minor league game. And the skill set, all those attributes are more identifiable because it's not being masked by having a rocket launcher in your hand. That's one. Two is you've seen so many more colleges pump resources into their baseball programs. So, I mean, look at the SEC, for example. You know, when LSU built the new box in '09, it was a palace. Now, it ain't even close in the SEC to the best stadium. I mean, Florida's got a new park. Kentucky's got a new park. Alabama basically built a new park. They renovated theirs. A&M's is gorgeous. Mississippi State's a showplace. Arkansas renovated theirs. Ole Miss is renovating theirs. South Carolina opened their new park after LSU opened the box. I mean, my point is, y'all, like, you can now, as a prospect, go play college baseball, fly private, be a big man on campus, play meaningful games, get really good experience. Like, scouts don't shy away from college prospects like they might have prior because of all the reasons that we talked about. So all of those, for those reasons, you know, you're seeing, like, I mean, like Dylan Cruz is a great example. Dylan Cruz would have been a first-round draft pick coming out of high school, but Dylan Cruz wanted $6 million. He knew he could be a top 5 pick and get $6 million. So he's like, I'll go play 3 years at LSU, and instead of being a mid or late first-round guy, I'll be maybe the first overall or the first college player taken, which I think he will be this year, and put $6-8 million. Like he's like, I'll go fly private and play college baseball and be a dude in Baton Rouge for 3 years instead of riding a bus around the minors and put an extra $4 million, $6 million in my pocket. Smart. Like some guys have that decision to make now. Billy Mathern, with transfers and coaching changes, betting these bowl games is like trying to bet NFL preseason games. Some of them are. Stick with Otter and his guys, man. They gave up Troy yesterday was a heavy play. Fresno State today was a very popular sharp play today. Gave out a lot of college basketball today as well. Casey Smith, good morning, buying that dip, did yesterday. LSU Sports Fanatic, good morning. Let's see. Dustin Blanchard. Randy Ardwin, good morning. Love your shows. Thank you so much. Weston Weaver, just stomp the like button. Thank you. Voodoo, good morning. Damon Perkins, just thought, Matt, what if the Saints can trade a pick for Garoppolo or Tyler Huntley? I'm desperate here. Remember, Jimmy G is going to be a free agent this offseason. So, yeah, I mean, there's a possibility. I just don't know that. I mean, I'll tell you this, Garoppolo is a better option than what the Saints currently have. I mean, if they're committed, if they're convinced Jameis won't be the guy, give me Garoppolo over Dalton for sure. Cortland Jacob. Yeah, that was cool. The waiver granted. So for those that missed it, the NCAA passed a one-time waiver to allow players, to oversimplify it, players can play in the bowl game and not burn a red shirt. So if you've played your 4 games and you weren't playing anymore because you didn't want to burn a red shirt, you can play in a bowl game now and not burn your red shirt. Which, I mean, had that rule been in place, Nussmeier could have played the bowl game for LSU last year. So, smart thing by the NCAA. Jeb, Matt, you have a feeling one way or another how LSU quarterback situation will play out? Do we think Jaden is leaving? I really don't know, Jeb, honestly. I mean, everyone I ask, I think there's several different factors at play there, and I think he'd like to return. I don't know that he will. I'd say it's 50-50. And I'm not a fence sitter. If I felt like I had good info, I'd tell you. I don't. Merrick Mathern, boxes overdue for upgrades. Yes. Shelby, Connor Griffin sounded great yesterday. 350-foot bombs at 12 is crazy. 8 committed players in the perfect game, top 10. 4 are committed to Jay. That's bananas. I know. I had a good convo with Jay earlier this week. He came on our Rosters to Riches podcast. We talked for a good bit off air too. He's just, dude's just so committed to winning, man. Like he is going to win championships at LSU. Plural. He will win championships at LSU. Like if you said, my bet everything you own criteria, like, hey, if I had to go to a ticket window in Vegas, bet everything I own, does Jay Johnson win championships at LSU or not? I would put all on yes. He does. I would be, if Jay Johnson does not win national championships at LSU, I will be stunned. I will be stunned. Stunned. Alan Black, good morning. Cortland, obviously the playoff bowl should be an exception. Doesn't matter, Cortland. I mean, because nobody's opting out of the playoff games anyway, and if you're good enough to play, you're playing for those teams anyway. Carlos Vlon, good morning. Let's see. Yeah, so as far as Garoppolo, I'm not saying that you sign Garoppolo to like a 5-year deal. That you would sign him to a Jameis type deal. A couple of 2-year contract, try to be a bridge till you can get an asset. I still say you're drafting a quarterback in this class. I mean, I think you're using the 36th pick or wherever you're going to draft. That high second round pick you're going to use on a quarterback. Michael Thacker, what type of class could LSU have if Brian Kelly only recruited Louisiana kids, not out of state? Well, the tough part about that is you're not going to get, now if you were guaranteed to get the best players in the state every year, then you could do it. But the tricky part is so you didn't get Arch Manning. Well, you got Ricky Collins, but Arch Manning and Holstein are both going out of state. Derek Williams, 5-star, number 1 safety, all that stuff. Well, he's committed to Texas also. And if you're getting all the top kids, you could do it. You could build a class just of Louisiana players. Don Teco, how do we know the new offensive linemen we are bringing in from the portal will be better than the ones who left us this season? Well, you don't, Don, but you also can't control the fact that the ones that are leaving are leaving. If they want to go, they go. But you have to go seek out spots to supplement your roster. Yeah, Ashley said Hendon Hooker. That's the popular name, and I mean, I'm completely down with it. If they take Hendon Hooker with their second round pick, I'm 100% on board with it. I think he'll be great. He'll get Purdy, the third stringer from San Fran. That's going to be an interesting what they do there. Because here's what I'll say about Brock Purdy real quick, and I will wind it down a little bit. Please do us a favor and smash that like button if you're there on YouTube, Facebook. Please like the page, share the post. Purdy's interesting. So he's had a good start, right? He's also on a team with a great defense and really good skill guys around him. Now, Deebo Samuel being injured, obviously, but you've got Kittle, who's arguably the best tight. Kittle and Kelsey are 2 best tight ends in football, and McCaffrey's there. So he's got a loaded roster around him. So they're not asking him to go win the games, but he's making plays. The thing that's always interesting is what happens when the NFL gets enough tape on you to adjust to you. I mean, I'll remind you, RG3 was Offensive Rookie of the Year. Vince Young was Offensive Rookie of the Year. Neither of those guys lasted in the NFL. Once the league gets tape on you and starts to scheme against you specifically, then how do you in turn react? It's the cat and mouse game. So that's going to be the interesting thing about Brock Purdy. We've seen guys flash, and then the league adjusts and defensive coordinators catch up, and how do you go? So we'll see. But that'd be interesting, man, because next year obviously they'll have Trey Lance coming off injury. They got Lance, Garoppolo, and Purdy. I mean, it's great luxury, but they got to make a decision, right? Okay. George Mueller, what's up? Nathan McCartney. Do you think we'll get a point where the transfer portal is graded starred like how high school recruits are? Yeah, they are. You can go look at portal rankings, Nathan. Scott Beckham, heard we got a top recruit in baseball from Jackson. Yeah, that's who we're talking about, Connor Griffin. He was on AFR yesterday. Would highly recommend you go listen to the interview if you get a shot. We had him on at 5:15, so it was hour 3 of AFR yesterday. All right, I think we're just about done. All right. Cortland said, will Hooker make it to the second round? Cortland, I mean, it depends if you look at the mock drafts. What do you believe? You know, I mean, all the mock drafts that I've seen consistently have. First of all, you got to look at who are the quarterback needy teams that are willing to take a quarterback in round 1, right? And you're going to see Young, Stroud, Levis, and apparently Anthony Richardson all go high. And then who's the next quarterback kind of is the question. So anyway, all right, y'all. I think we are done. Y'all have a great day. 10:06. Enjoy the football. Lots of it today. As always, shout out to Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. You need an orthopedist, go to Brock. After Hours Clinic open today. Nights and weekends as an alternative to the ER. brortho.com, brortho.com. Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Hudco's pinned right there in the chat, so we'd love to give you a free, no obligation roofing inspection. And Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. Book a session if you got pain. restoredmotions.com. Okay, y'all have an awesome day. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.